Alright, what's going on, guys? We are back with another episode of the PokeTalk podcast. Episode number 50. We're
Woo!
over the hill.
Milestone reached.
Yeah, what kind of creep up on us. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, as every week does, we just kind of use this as an excuse to talk and catch up with the hobby, and here we are at number 50. So
Yeah, had a pretty good new year. Yeah, we're celebrating number 50, obviously, but no, it's pretty cool. 50 is a huge milestone. I feel like a lot of the podcasts you see end up fizzling out before they even hit 10. Only a handful, I think, have even hit 50, to be honest with you.
yeah.
So we know we aren't the most popular one. We don't have like 20,000 viewers. We know that, but hey, we're reaching some folks. Some folks are listening to us, so that's all I care about. It's kind of like how I am with like my photography. Like I know it's like we got top of the line content here, and I know my photos are equivalent to professional photos, but trying to get somebody to view it is like pulling teeth because I really don't have an established platform for it. So it's just like my social medias, like my Instagram and my Facebook and my friends and friends and friends, and that's about it. But
Yeah.
speaking of photos, I finished my New York City edits. Woo! Finally,
Nice.
4 months later. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a grind, and
Yeah.
yeah, like I've always said for the podcast, it's mostly to keep me engaged, and that's how I am with YouTube. Like I had somebody who actually did a sale with, which I'll mention later. He was like, "Oh, dude, your collection's good. I don't know why people aren't watching your YouTube," and I was basically like, I mean, I know why. I don't put any effort really into it. I just make it for fun. And that's kind of how I am with a lot of things in the hobby. I like taking it seriously. That I like, buying and selling, but that's never really why I went to be like a full-blown vendor or flipper or whatever you want to call them. It's too much of a job or business that takes away from the fun for me. And yeah, so going back to all the way in 2011 when I was buying these and everyone said I was wasting money for 10 years, it was all just for fun. So I didn't really care.
You're telling me you're spending money on cards?
Isn't Pokemon dead? That's a children's game.
No, that's the next thing I was about to say. I hear that shit all the time because I play Pokemon Go. It's like, you're still playing Pokemon Go? People still play that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I've walked nearly, the circumference of the globe that I would have walked, in game, and I've told like my coworkers, that's like, no, you haven't. I was like, yeah, I have. And in the beginning of the game, one, there wasn't an adventure seek, and two, it didn't track worth a damn. So I know I'm probably 10% more than what it says it is. So yeah, it keeps me active. I've seen every single park in the city. I've learned almost every street in the city because of that game. So,
Yep, it's definitely gonna be a thing, just like Pokemon. It was, everyone kind of outgrew it and kind of made fun of you, and it lasted like 10+ years, and they're like, "Oh, he has Pokemon cards," and yeah, I liked them, and then here we are. People are still saying that. The people who are not into really any hobbies, the normies, who would just rather
fantasy football, and that's it.
Yeah, they would rather just watch sports or Netflix and mindlessly doom scroll on their phone and not get interested in anything. And yeah, gotta be into something, I feel like, to make you happy. You have to find something that makes you happy. And
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe that is just mindlessly sitting on the couch watching shows. But
hey man, I started watching Reacher last night, and I enjoyed that, mindlessly sitting on the couch during that.
yeah, but I mean, you do other things. Like, you definitely like watching movies and shows. But
yeah, well, the photography is a huge passion. I've been doing photography since I was technically a kid. I mean, I have a minor in photography art from college, just to kind of sum the resume, and then my genres of photography are very, very spread out. They're very diverse. Very Obviously, I'm not going to be like, it's like, oh, I'm this hyper professional. I wouldn't say I'm at that level, but like I do good work, and I know I do good work, and I'll never say like, oh, I'm better than somebody, because I think that's kind of, first off, that's terrible to say, because I've seen people who don't know a damn thing about photography take some breathtaking shots. That's one of the beautiful thing about being passionate about something, is you don't have to be an expert in it to, one, enjoy it, and two, do amazing work in it.
Yeah. Yep. It's something you really got to take for fun and enjoy, and then yeah, eventually it becomes a business. But I mean, I see these guys who, it's not even their collection. There's this dude who's always at collect cons. He has a lot of, the gold stars, and I'm like, man, those cards are awesome. And like, yeah, I would like to have more of those because I love the gold stars. And even
Yeah.
though I had them all, it's like I want 5 of every one. And then he pretty much deals in them, and he's always posting like, oh, doing a trade here, and I'm like, oh, like, yeah, the trade makes sense, but I think this card's way cooler. But to him, it's a money game and a business game, and you gotta do the hustle 24/7, and that just wouldn't be fun for me. Like I could do it, but yeah, it just would be kind of lax and rough, but pretty wild. For this episode, though, we're gonna touch on our holidays and how things went. Might
Mm-hmm.
touch on couple other events happening like this weekend. There's a Rita signing that happened at Hawaii
Mm-hmm.
PopCon.
Yep.
So that was the 6th and the 7th of January if you're listening to this later of
So,
2024.
and
Yeah.
it had a lot of details. This con did with the Rita. Like, I have never seen such details, which it makes sense, right? Because he's like the biggest name in the hobby when it comes to the artist side. And I mean, there's like, it's like, okay, you can do this, this, this. This is how it's going to be done. Blah blah blah. Unless you're the VIP pass, which, hint hint, always get the VIP pass for any of these events. Straight up. I know there are some cons and festivals, like say, like you try to go to Cannes Festival, a VIP event's probably tens of thousands. I'm not talking about that. But these events, usually it's within a couple hundred. It's worth it, especially if you're flying out to Hawaii. Are you going to get cheap on not doing the VIP when you're flying out to Hawaii already? That
Yeah.
place ain't cheap anyway, so don't go cheap now.
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and talk about that if we want. Let's
Well,
touch on the New
sorry,
Year's plans like real
we
quick.
gotta say we can do the holidays. I get sidetracked easy, so
Yeah, there's a E4 thread about all the
yeah.
signatures that I'm kind of going down, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And
it's wild.
I'm gonna say, for as far as the New Year's was pretty simple. We got the usual pizza that we usually get from the pizza place. Now we were disappointed because they went terribly cheap on this pizza, and I was beyond upset because it was my favorite pizza place, right?
Where is
And
it? Is it in St.
it,
Louis area? You gonna call them out?
no, it's local. But they were under new management, and it's been pretty clear. Like they've said they've been under new management now for a year and a half, and they said website coming soon. And I think in New Year's Eve going into 2022, it said that. So that kind of gives you an idea. And so like Emos has like this cracker thin crust, which I don't mind it. Um, I usually like the thin crust to be a little bit thicker. Like Pizza Hut has a pretty good thin crust, but I also don't mind like the Domino's style thin crust, which is pretty thin. Now here's the thing: this place had even thinner than Domino's. Like it was $15 for a pizza, same price as like their hand toss and deep dish, pretty much. And I didn't know that they had changed it. And when they gave me the box, it's like, is there even a pizza in this? Is what I thought, and I had to look at it. I had to look at it.
Like a little
Yeah,
paper of a pizza.
yeah, and I was like, to my girlfriend, I was like, I'm gonna be hungry after I eat this whole damn thing. Okay.
First off, you're not getting anything because I'm gonna eat it
well,
all, and I'm gonna be
well,
hungry.
she's a vegetarian, so she got the cheese pizza.
Okay.
But yeah, I
Was
mean,
hers the
I
same?
should, yeah, I mean, I should have got. I got the 16-inch, which is large. I should have got the 20-inch. Okay, to be full, and I was just really disappointed. I'm gonna give them another chance with their hand toss, and if it's just as bad or if it tastes different, I'm done with this place.
Yeah.
I'm going to Papo's next.
Does it begin with a G?
No, I like their pizza though.
Okay.
I actually their pizza is one of my personal favorites. They're not the best in town, but that Greek style pizza where it's thinner, I don't feel bloated after I eat it. I actually really like their pizza. I just think it's a little bit overpriced for what it is. It's like almost $20. That's the only issue I have with it.
All right. Does the place begin with a W?
Yes, it does.
And 2 words?
Yes, it is.
No. That's my favorite. Yeah. That's my favorite pizza place too. I never have tried their thin crust. And
well, it's changed. It used to be like Pizza Hut style, where it was diagonal cut and like 1/4 inch thick. Now it's like a 1/16 inch thick.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
If y'all are local, it's a couple guys, and I heard they're wise, but it is under new management. I have heard that as well, and I have heard that it hasn't been as good since then. And
yeah, I think they went cheaper.
What's sad is the new management there is like used to be locals. Like I used to go there a lot. Every single Monday night they had like a $1 pint special, and that was the place to be. That was
you
like
could get sloppy. You could get extra sloppy.
Like you could it was like shoulder to shoulder crowd in there on Monday nights, and the only place that had like a special. And yeah, I tell you what, I went there on a Monday post COVID. I'm sure COVID had something to do with it. And that hippie, like it's a very local hippie crowd that goes there. And I'm sure they got older, and maybe like the next round of locals, because of COVID, never got to experience that or start traditions of going to that place. But Mondays are not the same anymore, and I heard other things like that.
Well, I've been sober 7 years, so but when I used to go there, I mean, it was so they had Coors and Killian's Red, were the 2 pints that they had, and
yep,
so I mean,
they were.
Under $20, you can get drunk, and you can do it socially. Like that's with tip.
Yeah, and be like shoulder to shoulder with people, and you saw the same people, all local people, same people every time. It was a good time. And then, yeah, we always got their untouchable pizza at work when I worked night shift. So, yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
The delivery driver would be tripping balls.
Always stoned
every
out
time.
The door. Hey, bro. And hey, here it is. You're untouchable.
They made an awesome pizza though. Like you had like, how big is that? Untouchable was like ridiculous size and like 5 toppings and loaded.
Yeah, yeah. It feeds like a group of 5 comfortably.
Yeah, but
so
there's our Como rant. I was a lot of other podcasts that I listen to that are all based in the same location. You know, they always have their tangents on their local scene. But,
well, I guess it's pretty obvious. I mean, you basically just said it. I wasn't sure if we were trying to be like secretive where we were. You don't know where we are. You'll never know where we are.
Yeah, and that pizza place is kind of known, but I mean, no one's gonna get in trouble for that.
No, I was just not sure for being discreet because we got a pretty big, we got some notoriety coming our way if you pay attention to foosball in this area, so that's why.
Foosball? Like, hey. What's the foosball news?
Oh, Mizzou being the darlings of the up and coming darlings of the SEC. So.
Yeah, I thought you meant like table, like actual foosball. I'm like. Is Mizzou going ham in the foosball scene?
Holy shit,
or what?
It's snowing outside. God damn. Okay, but
is it coming down hard?
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. But anyways, no, I'm pretty excited. I've been a Mizzou fan since the days of Brad Smith, about 20 years. So yeah, this is a great time to be a Mizzou foosball fan, and yeah, pretty excited.
Yeah, but it's I think they'll be doing good. I saw the head coach. I don't know if y'all are into some foosball as well, but I saw the head coach got like an extension and that
Yeah.
his 2023 deal was like $5 million or something. Like, why in the hell is his salary $5 million? That's what I'm
Well,
wondering.
if you look at almost anywhere, that's unfortunately how it is. Highest paid employee in every state. It's almost going to always be a college head football coach.
That is ridiculous, especially before proving himself. Like, ugh.
But,
All the problems universities have, and then there's that. You
yep.
know, I feel like if I went from like a, what's the step before college head coach, like a assistant coach or something in the
Probably an
program
offensive or
like that.
defensive coordinator. Probably offense or defensive coordinator. Or starting off in a like D3 head coach area.
I just can't imagine. I just imagine that jump from, second best to like head coach is like the ratio there just seems like it'd be ridiculous. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
So what about your new year? You didn't really say much about yours.
yeah, we did a little early New Year. We usually do the wife's family about a week before. Um, really, the only thing I asked for, so it's like still a struggle here, but I was like, I think I mentioned this eBay gift cards. Trust me, it'll make me happy. But people still felt, like they needed to give me a little something else, and there were some good gifts, and I appreciate it. But also being minimal, my wife and I, and it's Christmas is kind of hard when we get all these things. We're like, okay, we need to go through the whole house and get rid of old things that we don't use anymore. So we've already done that for the new year, and pretty good time with the family. Did her family a little before, did my family like a couple days before, and then just stayed here. So when we see my family, we travel about 2.5 hours away, which is always tough. Wears you out, but it was a good time. So used some of that like Christmas money and some gift cards that I got for some card supplies and a few Lorcana singles I still need for my binder. I really want to knock out those binders with some Gold Star sales, but I'm over the holidays I've posted my Gold Stars. I've sold a couple of them and in the works to sell another, probably having it sent out today. And yeah, I'll talk about those in a little bit, but already moving towards those goals.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I was able to sell off a decent amount of the Lorcana stuff. I got a few more ending an auction tonight. That's why I had to get some supplies. I was sending my graded slabs in Ziploc bags, as like the protective case, like around it, and then I would put it like into the bubbler, or I'd put, if it was a value card, I'd wrap it in bubble wrap and then put it in the bubbler. But yeah, I know that has to look tacky. So, but I'm only getting positive reviews, so everything must be going good.
Hey, keeps it from getting scratched,
That's my thought process. Like, it offers another layer of protection so it doesn't get scratched. Even though Ziploc bag's pretty thin, it's still better than nothing.
Yeah. Yep, pretty wild. Other than that, though, I mean, we're not doing too much. I might be having a job change here soon where I'll be working at the same places that I'm working at, just maybe more hours and maybe more night shift rotations, which is 12 hours night shifts. Should free me up. Like I'm always a night person, and I can sleep during the day pretty well. And I worked nights before for like 7 years, so being a
Yeah, see,
day person's kind of rough on me. I'm always tired, but I honestly feel like nights would be better, and I could sleep when the wife and kiddo are out doing things. And
my biggest thing is just honestly just working 12 hours where you're waking up or you're going to bed basically when it's still light out. I know that would mess up my sleep schedule hardcore and it'd be difficult for me to sleep. And me having a couple days being sleep deprived turns me into a raging asshole and makes me depressed. I know, I'm not the only one. Like, the importance of a good night's sleep cannot be understated, honestly, with what it does to your mental health and well-being. And I mean, I could probably get used to it, but the 12-hour shift would kill me.
Yeah.
12-hour overnight shift would kill me. I could get used to like an 8 to 8 or like 10 to 10 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited because time wise, for me to do things, like I have to do it like when we record, which is like in the middle of the day when the kiddo's napping, or at night. Then when I do things at night, like, I don't really have time to just chill or play games or make videos or upload. So the challenge will still be there of when am I going to record. But as far as free time, I should have a lot more free time because typically I'm at I'll be at the government job here in town, and it's much less busy than the other place that I work. So I should have a lot more free time in editing and like producing the things. Just we'll have to find that time to actually record things. So maybe you'll see less videos on my channel, but maybe higher quality since I'll have more time to chill and put more effort into them. Or maybe make more Instagram content like some shorts or something. We'll see. The good thing is though, it's going to be like a set 2-week schedule, so it will be nights. It won't be all together, but every 2 weeks will be the exact same days that I work, so that'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be easy to organize something. I usually have a pretty fixed schedule too. It's just in case, unless somebody asks off, or if I ask off, then it changes. But even then, I'm still off usually the same 2 days every single time.
Yeah, and it's every other weekend, so every other weekend I'll be working, but every, the opposite weekend I'll be free, so.
It evens out.
Yeah. And then it kind of changes a little bit with the holidays, but.
Yeah. We just had them, so you don't have anything to worry about for a while.
Yeah. But with that, I guess we can talk a little bit more about some Pokemon things. We have, I guess, the biggest thing. There's not really any news. I mean,
No,
I
there
don't
isn't.
expect we're going to have any.
No.
We had the pre-holiday stuff and everything's kind of recalibrating. And
You're going to start seeing some drops. You're already starting to see them with some cards. Apparently, there's another trademark filed for, a set that probably won't be coming out until the fall. And I mean, there's just really not much this time of year. We are kind of getting to where like some of the biggest news in Pokemon does occur, which is the Pokemon Direct around their anniversary, which is in February. They usually have one at that. They release what they're doing this year, and that's when everybody gets hyped over that. They announce it, and it's like, oh my god! And we all get hyped on it because it's like, honestly, it really is a pretty exciting day. Like, you hear their whole plan for the next year, and yeah, it is pretty cool. I'm
yeah.
glad that they do that because it's like I mean, how many people do? I mean, how many companies? I mean, I know some companies do to like their investors, right? Or a lot do, but I'm talking about like media. How many of those type of folks do that with their fans?
Mm-hmm.
For all Pokemon's issues and how much shit we talk on them, which they rightfully deserve, they probably are some of the best towards their fans over any other business or media.
Yeah, I just hate how they present it. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
nice that they have a direct and everyone can tune in, and they do multiple directs.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Apple. Apple's the
Yep.
same way. They have their investor thing, but then they have keynotes. Like, they'll have like a iPad/watch keynote in April, then like an iPhone keynote. So like you kind of when to tune in, and you can watch it live when they announce things, and it's like an event. So that's kind of what Pokemon does, and they just kind of act silly. Like they want to be professional and to the point, but they're like, here is the next Pokemon game. I hope you enjoy.
Well, I think that's
Thank
some of
you.
the translation issues.
but you can tell, like some people on the forums were saying, like, yes, they're very stern because they're sitting there at the desk, like straight posture and like Pokemon all around them, and they're very
Business like.
meticulous. And it's like
Well, I think that's more. So I think what that is too. That's some of the Japanese culture coming out, or that is the Japanese
for
culture coming
sure,
out.
yeah,
And I mean, that's just how that way of speaking is a very formal way that you see within Japanese businesses, especially. I don't know the culture per se. I just know there's a pretty strict code around it, especially when it comes to work ethic.
yeah. They do want to be professional and then light and then straight to the point, and
Hmm.
yeah. So going to peek outside here. Looks like a few.
It's already stopped.
Oh, it's still going up here.
Oh, is it?
The big. If you look at the
Oh,
radar,
I see it now. It stopped. It was rain, and then I mean it's melting before it gets to the ground.
yeah,
I think it's been too warm, but tonight it's supposed to get cold, so that could be ice for tomorrow.
yeah, all the big stuff's coming tonight. And if you look at the radar, there's like a huge line of storms, and it's just riding, and it looks like we're gonna be like right in the middle of it the whole
Oh
time.
man, I bet I should probably get a hold of a coworker because I'm not driving. Like my car doesn't handle well in the snow, so I tell like my
Got a
boss, I'm like,
Subaru.
yeah, I mean I tell my boss like I have no problem coming in when we got a foot of snow on the ground, but I'm not driving.
Yeah. Say, when do you have to go in? You have to go in tomorrow morning?
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, it's definitely going to be some challenges in the morning.
we'll see.
What time you got to go in there?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.?
So probably, I mean, I'm usually up by around 8. So I'll just have to remember to get my car started to see what it's like and reach out to a coworker if it looks bad.
We were planning, I'm going to be with the little one. We were planning on going to the library at 9:30. I imagine they're going to be closed, but either way, I got to drop something off at the post office. So,
I can always ask you, hey, yeah,
yeah,
sure.
if we're going to plan on getting out, I'll let you know. Or, we'll be chilling anyway. I don't mind.
Well, I gotta go to the post office anyway, so it might work out.
Yeah.
I'll have those 2 cards to sell tonight that I have to drop off in the morning. So,
Yeah. Unless the wife ends up taking my Jeep or something.
yeah,
But I just got new tires, though, so that's nice.
yeah. But so the main thing that we really do have to discuss on this rotation is essentially the Hawaii PopCon event. And I kind of forgot about it
I did
until I saw
too. Yeah. There was a lot of
until
people posting about it, though.
yeah, yeah, Arita has his own he has his own sidebar on it essentially. That's how big he is.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Englehart. So it's a lot of comic book artists.
Yeah,
It
it
looks
seemed
like.
like very Collecticon-ish. More so maybe merchandise and stuff like that. But next time there's a signature like this that's maybe on the mainland, I really need to try to get over there
Nicholas
and
Cole was there.
and get something. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Now that'd be interesting. If I had my Mickey, I would crack that out and have him sign it. There is the writer of Usagi Yojimbo, which is a pretty solid comic series, was there too.
Huh.
Oh man, the voice of Toph. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was looking through some of the restrictions on Arita, and
Jason
they
Cage is there.
he's everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a time slot reservation service, I guess, that they were doing. Details of which were announced like right before. There's a 24-hour notice prior to the release. VIP ticket holders are exempt. So basically, if you're not VIP, you have to sign up for a time slot. And I don't know how that went. It just finished up yesterday, and people are still kind of sharing their experiences. So we'll see how that went. But enforced a one-time line policy until everyone gets their chance. And I'm pretty sure that you had to show ID, like your
You
literal
did.
ID, because
If you were a VIP though, it looks like you basically had a time slot. I think it was the same way with. It looks like it was the same way if you weren't VIP, but you had to enter a lottery. So there was a chance you would not get it if you didn't get the VIP.
yeah. And it also just goes to show like how nice of a dude Arita is, because the whole Hawaii PopCon post is like, this is not a signing session, but an opportunity to meet him and purchase
Yeah.
merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is like tons of people posting on E4 and around Facebook about, they got their signature and they have like 4 cards signed. So Arita, if he wasn't as nice, he could very well just be like, oh,
I'm not doing it.
yeah, this is not for signing. This is just to meet me. Because that's literally what Hawaii PopCon says. And then it looks like he's, signing things just like normal. Yeah, this event is intended for fans. We discourage attendance for the sole purpose of reselling signed items. So, as does every event. But yeah, you could get a common art, includes an English signature and the option of 1 personal item. Limited art, which is, so that's $35. So I guess you did have to buy something on, the merchandise, and then you got the option to get a signature on one of your personal items. So $35 English signature and the option of 1 personal item.
Mm-hmm.
Limited art, $180 plus tax, offers an English or kanji signature plus a head sketch on 1 personal item. And then combined art, $215 plus, a mix of both options. So,
which is what most, if you were trying to sell it, that's what you would get.
Yeah. And honestly, it's worth it, because we'll talk about the pricing.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of different options there. And it looks like you can only do 1 item, it looks like. I don't think you could. It doesn't say, but based on the writing, like the syntax and everything, it seems like if you try to pull 2, they'd be like, no, put that back.
Yeah.
Which I understand. If it's a lot of people, I totally understand. Especially if you're spending $500 to get 2, because that takes up time. And
Yeah.
if enough people did that, just imagine the amount of time that would take up. Because they haven't announced some of the folks we want for KCCon, but I plan on seeing, just asking straight up, how many signatures can I get? Being like 5. I'm like, okay, that's how much I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Like on some of them, I probably won't go that much on Sean Schimmel, probably like 3 or 4, but yeah, you know what I mean. So,
and I don't want to be picky, but like, I love Arita's signature and Charizard sketch. He draws some of them with like flames coming out of his mouth, and then some of them where the kanji's like straight up and down. And yeah, I like that style where it's like a Charizard head with the flames, and then sometimes he draws the flames red. Like, he has a lot of different variations, and all variations are pretty much always available on eBay. And they pull quite the price. Like, some other things that they had there, you had pin options between black, silver, and gold.
Yeah.
Addressed name requirements must match the legal name on your ID, so they're checking
that's
IDs.
where it's like, they said they're checking everything.
Yeah. Can be a nickname, a SNS handle, or a friend's name, as long as it's recognizable. Personal item guidelines. The item must already have a character depicted for a head sketch, so you can't bring like a blank card or something. So I bet that's like Pokemon limiting him, so he can't do a sketch unless like it's on the actual card. So that's interesting. Yeah, the limited, you have choice of English, kanji, or both. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, you can specify colors, pin types, and placements of names and dates. So I'm surprised they offer that where you can choose where he signs and how he draws his picture and all that.
Well, that actually does make it pretty good because what you were describing, what you like, you could have described in detail that exact thing. So that would be easier than getting anything else. The problem is to acquire that signature, you have to fly out to Hawaii, which is ain't cheap, you know.
Yeah, and I don't want to
I
be
mean,
that guy. Like, I want to walk up and like say hi and like maybe say something nice and have him do his thing. I don't want to spend my 30 seconds with him. Oh, kind of sketch over here to the right a little bit and
well,
sign right here.
I feel like when you say what you're getting, I feel like it would be two sentences, right? I mean, yeah, I would like I feel like it can open up for some conversation. My opinion of it is if I'm there, I'm standing in line. Well, you have time slots for VIP, which is what we would have had or what I would have in that situation. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I didn't quite do that with Schimmel, but like I dictated the pen color.
Yeah.
So it was, and then he did ask where, and I'm like, and then asked him like right here, like beneath it, like on like the bottom half of the card.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it comes up in natural conversation. So I don't really think it's like I'm not expecting the signer to four score and 7 years ago, and then just give me their life story. I'm not expecting that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would like a signature from Arita. But yeah, I guess we can talk about maybe some signature goals or if we want to collect signatures and then the pricing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So I gotta be honest with you. Signatures are cool, but I would probably never buy one. I think, well, it depends. Okay, so Kamiya, I'd almost have to buy it. I would rather get it myself though,
yeah, I would
just because I don't.
definitely prefer in person.
Yeah, like I don't think it's something I would pay to get, but I understand those that do with the convenience and who the signature is. Like it's cheaper to pay for the signature card on a certain card you want than go out to Hawaii, for example, right?
Well, sometimes, like, depends on the venue because, you know, we were talking about pricing a little bit before the podcast. And like you said, even like a Japanese Charizard on the lower end with the signature, I mean, you're over, $1,200, $1,400 right there. And, maybe Hawaii, you can't make it there for that. But a lot of these other places you've went, like, that's cheaper than the plane ticket and the event itself.
Within
So,
the convenience and opportunity cost, you get that has to be played into as well.
yeah. And then you get
Or,
the
or
experience and you get to go to the event. And
yeah, I mean, if I here, I'm actually curious to see if Kamiya, because we discussed on here how there was a guy at the KC Con last year was asking for 22,000 for Kamiya signed Munch Psyduck, but it was a PSA 9. It was an Auto 10, I think, but it was a PSA 9.
mm-hmm.
And he was basically saying, Kamiya doesn't do centers, which is true. He really doesn't. But
At the same time, he had like three of them. It's like,
and
okay.
it was a PSA 9. Like a PSA 10, okay, I kind of get it. Okay, it is outrageous what you're asking for, but Kamiya is has some of those most loyal collectors within the hobby, so you will get your money eventually. Probably not 22,000, but probably it'd be like between 10 and 15K or around there or so. But somebody will pay for it. But a PSA 9 with his signature, I mean, that it was just outrageous in my opinion.
Yeah, and it was still kind of hype where like a lot of the
Yeah, that's true. With the
signatures were kind of
Japanese,
hyping, but
yeah,
yeah, it definitely seemed like a little too much, like with over the 20K. But yeah, for my goals, like I ideally would like to get, like, I think it would be a stretch goal for me. Like if I completed all my Japanese grails, like another thing I would go for is like signature cards or like cool Japanese cards. I'd get a Rita. I'd get Harada, who did all the gold stars. He had a signing on the East Coast, I believe, last year. So people like that who do really nice artwork. Obviously, Komiya and Sugimori would pretty much be grails. To my knowledge, Sugimori hasn't signed in a very long time and probably will never again sign unless it's an extremely special event. Um, so yeah, his signatures are pretty wild. So that's like the holy grail.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Komiya, and so they're authenticated cards, and they're auto tens. They're Japanese. Well, one's it like literally just somebody just pulled three random Kokomiya cards because there's a Japanese McDonald's Tyrogue with a Sudowoodo on it of all things, and there's like his name in Japanese and English, and then the date, and they're asking 18,000.
Yeah.
18,000. And then a Cubone from Expedition, a common, or it's a reverse foil, but still basically a common. And they're asking 18,000 for this one because of his signature.
Dang.
Like, yeah, like that's not even in reality, in my opinion.
Yeah. And he just seems like the type, like, I think he would maybe sign a little more. He's just very like a private person.
Yeah, well, from what I understand of Komiya, he obviously, I think, enjoys his Pokemon thing, and I think he does enjoy talking to fans, but he doesn't like the aspect of signing cards because of the money involved. I think, I don't know him personally, but I feel like it has something to do with he feels like trying to make money off his art, essentially.
Yeah. And like a Sugimori signature, that would be like I said, the holy grail. I would be happy if like that was the only signature I had because he did all the greatest nostalgia artworks of our time with
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon. But he's very much so. He didn't do much signing back in the day, and now he's really really limited. Don't even know what he's doing now. Um, Ishihara has kind of become that way. Um, since the hype, we've seen Ishihara be around a little bit, but even at Worlds, there was an event where he was signing posters, and that was it. Like, you got a poster, no cards, nothing else. Um, so they had pre-made posters, and I think he even left that early because he had to go do something else. So it was like literally a very short window where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do them, but I'm only doing this poster, and see you later." So yeah, it's he's more of a business type, and it'd be cool to have a signature, yeah, but it's not like these artists like Sugimori and Harada,
Kuki Saito.
yeah, Saito, yeah,
And
stuff like
I'm
that.
kind of going through him. Okay, so the PSA 10 signed Mario Pancho, that makes sense that they're asking for 16,000. It's got a customized image of Pikachu and it's got a signature. Um, it's an auto 8, which it still makes sense that they're asking that much. Like, that sucks because it's an auto 8, though. Like, um, but a lot of these signatures, I mean, they're thousands of dollars, man. Like, just to be authenticated. Like, Skyward Zard, like 5,500. Authenticated. It's not even an auto thing. It's just authenticated.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. There was a there was a Sabrina card that was signed by the voice actor of Sabrina from
Hmm.
the anime, and I thought that was pretty cool. That's one you don't really see very often. And there's one on eBay right now of a Giovanni voice
Giovanni.
actor, and
See,
you can buy
what
it
do
right
you
now for 190, and it's
what do
already
you
graded.
think of that?
Those are the kind that like I would like. If I go into collecting signatures, I would collect voices of the anime. I'd collect artists. Like I would collect everything. So it'd be cool. And like I almost bought that Sabrina one because it was like $220, and this Giovanni one is like 190. So they're already graded. I almost would like want them just kind of cracked out for my signature binder. Like that's kind of what I would like. But the E4 exchange is going to do another signature exchange, or E4 forum is going to do another signature exchange here soon. So that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, obviously the only ones I have signed are the ones that we did last year and whatever we get this year. But for me, like I'm just kind of going through them signed by voice actor. Like there was a Blaine's Charmander that was signed by the voice actor for that one. You know, that one could be kind of neat, but it's not something I'm going to be paying crazy amount for.
Yeah.
Like this one sold for, well, it was best offer accepted. So who even knows? So it was under $80 free shipping.
It's also a
It's
way for me to like remember the event, like getting it in
yeah.
person. Like I like that way more, and I don't care about even grading the signature aside from like the Pokemon. But
Well, I want it to be authenticated. So unless I think it's a bad signature, I like getting that graded for that reason.
yeah, yeah.
I'm actually
Say
speaking of.
what are you doing there?
So
Cooking
I
stir
actually
fry?
no, so I bought a Tops. You know, since we're speaking of voice actors and people signing, I bought another version of the 1999 Tops Pokemon with Ash on it.
Nice.
That's the most notable one because it's very associated with Veronica Taylor. Um, this is the one that we had signed this past year.
Uh huh.
Now, I bought it as a CGC one, and we cracked it out, and ended up getting an Auto 9. What wasn't it? I think it was an Auto 9.
Yeah, it was authentic Auto 9 is what we
Yeah,
did.
authentic Auto 9. See, that's a card where if it were an actual 9, I would have kept it. Like an Auto 9 PSA 9, I would have kept a card like that. But since it's only authentic and Auto 9 and there's no sort of like personalization, I'm just trying to sell it.
Yeah.
And so I bought a PSA 9, cracked that out where I plan to, and I'll see if because it could squeak a 10. There's a little edge on the bottom left, but it could still sneak a 10, um, and potentially be an Auto 10 PSA 9, or at worst PSA 9 Auto 9, and I would keep that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want like the signature authenticated, and yeah, maybe I'll get a couple at Collecticon again, but as far as the ones that I'd like to encapsulate, it'd really only be the Pokemon guys. But yeah, I might chase down some artists. I'm gonna sell some gold stars, get some grails, finish that up, and then see where I'm at. So that's the step one, and then yeah, signatures / potential Charizard is to come. But yeah, I mean that's really all I had to talk about with the signatures and stuff. I know we're kind of trying to cut down on the time, being these more chill episodes and kind
Well,
of to
I'm
the
just kind
point.
of serious. Okay, so I was trying to find an example of it doesn't always increase value for a card. For example, this person sold a pair of Mario and Luigi, and it's 5,000 because it was a pair, but this other one just certified is only $1,000. So I think that's actually less than the Mario is raw.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it.
And because Charles Martinet is one of those people, it's like, why would you get him to sign a Pokemon card like that? We were actually looking at it. It was after KCCon. There was actually one that went up, or one that was up around the same time, and uh, it sold for lower than what it should have sold. because of we're pretty sure it had his name on it. Now he discussed this before. If it had Charles Martinet and Cookie Science's name on it, that's something that would be intriguing to potentially buy.
Yeah, and we've talked about that before too. Like Charles Martinet is cool, Mario's cool. He is the Mario guy, but when it's a Pokemon card, he didn't voice the like original dub for Pokemon, obviously, and
Mm-hmm.
Mario in relation to that card is just like filler. Like it's not it's not a Mario in Pikachu outfit. Like it's a Pikachu in Mario outfit.
Yep.
So it's like there's not really any like the connection there is like the least significant connection possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's only tied to it because he voiced the English version of the character Pikachu's pretending to be. And yeah, people would be much more interested if that was a artist signature. So yeah, it's in that weird spot. I feel like people who would want a Charles Martinet signature wouldn't pay that much to get that card. People who want that card wouldn't pay that much to get his signature on it. They
No.
don't care to have it. And yeah, in my opinion it devalues the card as well. So
Yeah. And now, if it were both of them, it could add value. Oddly enough.
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like if it was just the artist signature, like obviously it would be more because like there is that
Yeah.
connection.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you add Charles on there, as long as the original artist was on there as well, it would be nice. But to
Yeah.
just have his would be weird.
Yeah, because that would be actually pretty awesome to have both of them signed it, and that would be a very, very rare card to own. Um,
Then
like,
you go a step further and you have the voice actor for Pikachu in the Japanese sign it,
we're
and
doing,
Sarah Nanachini sign it.
you go even further, and you get the creator of Pikachu, and then you just have everything. You go full Pikachuception there. So,
Yeah. And then you have Ishihara sign it because he authorized the printing of that card.
yeah, so
Then you have everyone who touches it at PSA sign
at significant value.
it. Yeah.
But no, because what collectors ultimately like is rare cards, something like a lot of people like inherent scarcity, but they also like something that has a personal tie to a card. And for me, getting the signature in person on my own adds that value. Because yeah, in the lines kind of suck, but we didn't really have that because we bought the VIP pass, which we suggest everybody do if you plan on going to any of these things again. I said it already this episode, I'll say it again and again. Um, and I actually kind of like the experience, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy it, even if it's like a Charizard. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy it
Yeah.
for a Rita sign. Like Kamiya would be the only one that I would even consider, I feel like. But with how rare it is and how unlikely he is to do any sort of sign events, it just like it isn't even in the realm of reality to get his signature with how rare it is. So it'll be kind of a grail. Like if I could get any of his cards signed, like if you ran into him and it's like, oh, I have this only Kamiya card. Well, this is the card he's signing. Sure, that'd be great. But there are about 3 to 5 that I would prefer to
Mm-hmm.
have the possibility. But even if he were to have a signing event, it's not going to be in the Midwest.
Yeah, it's a struggle for us here in the Midwest. There are bigger problems, but yeah, it'd be nice if just someone came. Like I feel like Chicago or
It'd be
Denver.
Chicago. Yep, it'd be Chicago, Denver, or Kansas City in that order,
I
in
think
my
it. I
opinion.
think it'd be Chicago, Denver, or like Nashville, maybe.
I think so. I think Kansas City would be a pretty.
Cause they had worlds at Nashville. Like it's got
Yeah, that's
some
true.
world. It's got some world notoriety there. People
Yeah.
wanna.
Well, you got Graceland's not too long, and so there's that. That's pretty. that's pretty notable. And Nashville has kind of become like a cowboy Disney or like a redneck Disney kind of.
Yeah.
And it's become more of a, it's become more, it's like, oh, I'm going to Nashville. Oh, you're in Nashville? Than an actual country area where you can
Redneck
immerse it.
Disney and then like
Yeah.
party
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah. So, because it used to be like you can actually immerse in the culture with like the country music, but over the last generation or so, it's slowly transitioned into more of a tourist trap than anything else.
Yeah. Yep, unfortunately, but yeah, I could see those. Or, obviously Texas has been pretty hot for stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Texas, I would actually go out there to Texas because the airport flies to Dallas Fort Worth,
yeah,
and if it's anywhere in Texas, it's going to be Dallas Fort Worth, Houston, or Austin. Now, Houston and Austin are on the other side of Texas, if I'm not mistaken, right? Right. So it is a pretty big distance away, um, but still, you have a 33% chance of it being in an area where it's pretty close. I mean, Austin's the furthest one, but I think Dallas and Houston's like within 4 hours of it, so it's not terrible.
yeah. Dallas, obviously is right there. Houston and Austin's kind of out there. They're a
I know Austin's
little
towards
farther
like the Gulf.
south.
Yeah, I know. Then it's like
Well,
central north, I think.
Houston's right next to the Gulf. Austin's still a little more inland,
I thought Austin
but
was pretty close to the Gulf, but
but I've been to Austin. It's a
yeah,
pretty nice place.
I passed it on the highway,
It's,
but never actually been to Austin.
yeah. I went down there for a Rooster Teeth expo. It's a Rooster Teeth Productions, like an internet media company. They did Red versus Blue and
Yeah, okay.
a bunch of other series. Yeah, I went to the second ever Rooster Teeth convention. They have a podcast and everything. A whole bunch of shows. Achievement Hunter came out of Rooster Teeth.
Yeah,
Lots of
we
talk shows.
never actually been there, but when my family and I, we went to Texas on vacation. We toured a pretty decent amount of Texas, and we passed it. I think going to Galveston, I think, is when we passed it, or something like that. But yeah, we didn't actually stop by it. We went around Houston, went through Dallas. I'll tell you what, it's something else with those highways, with how in Dallas it feels like you're driving around these skyscrapers. I mean, as like an 8 or 9 year old, like a 10-year-old, that's what I felt. I was like, holy shit, this is the future.
Well,
Uh,
one of the fastest growing areas is down
yeah,
around Austin and all
yeah.
that. So,
Well, what it wasn't Austin; it was Dallas that had all those highways. But
yeah, I mean, it might be the future though if everyone keeps moving down there.
yeah, for sure.
Just saw this news article, I guess, to bring it back way back to the news. Did you see the Greninja line of Ultra Pro accessories?
I did, but I never really much cared for that sort of thing. It's just because they obviously gear it towards kids, right?
Yeah, I was going to say sleeves. I mean, they got an Ultra Pro binder, deck boxes, play mats.
Well, even the playmat's pretty basic.
Yeah, they made it the most basic, lame art of Greninja possible.
Like corporate art. It's like we're just gonna get Greninja at one point in the show with
let's
his
just
posture,
slap him on there. It's like, why
and
not?
let's get some blue. I mean, it is basic ass for sure.
They put some ninja stars in there because why not?
Like they made some awesome playmats before. Like Pokemon has made some beautiful, gorgeous playmats, and then you just see this, and it's like, okay.
And it looks like they put slight effort into like the background. Like it's got like one of those those 90s like wave
the
cups.
The cups.
Yeah, it's got like that style, and then the ninja stars look like they were hand painted and designed. And then Greninja is like literally copy paste image. Like he doesn't match the art style at all. It's like his basic Pokédex art. Like that's an F.
For failure.
Yeah. Literally looks like something that I made just by like copy and paste in Greninja into something.
And then here's this comment is great. It's the first comment. It is As far as Ultra Pro's products are concerned, I think this line is one of them. Yes, it is. Of all the things he's created, this is certainly one of those.
Yeah, and then I didn't even look at these yet, but yeah, number two is they are pretty good actually. But if you have to use stock artwork, then this is about as good as you're gonna get.
I guess maybe that's in the contract. It can't be in. No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. I think they just didn't care for it.
Yeah,
They didn't really
even if it
try. They're
is,
like,
there's like way more. I mean,
oh,
surely there's a
the item
better
features stock.
picture.
It features stock of Ken Sugimori artwork. So it is, I guess, just stock images of his artwork, I guess. So never mind. That's why it's basic. I guess in the contract of whatever they have, that's probably it's written in there. It's like you can choose any photo you want as long as it's one of these stock images. So
Yeah, that's an F all around. I
yeah, I
mean,
mean, it's like I said, this is something aimed towards kid. It's meant to be an impulse buy than anything else. I feel like.
yeah. But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to touch on aside from your question, or should we?
The only thing I think we kind of skipped out on, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but we didn't really touch them necessarily on all of them. But some of the price value it adds with his signature is pretty significant. Um, I don't know. Every convention is different. I know Arita has probably does some of the most signatures out of any artist. I mean, they probably pay him the most, and it makes sense. But his signature adds pretty significant value to basically almost any card. I don't want to say any card because it's mainly the WotC where it adds the most value. Some of the modern cards, like for example, like there's multiple cards, even the Mew GX Mint 9. Now that's probably a $50, $60 Mint 9 card. The Test Tube Mewtwo, one of his
Mm-hmm.
best modern artworks. Auto 10 Mint 9 with an image, so he had personalized art on it, was about $900. It went to auction.
Yeah, that's
So if
pretty
you,
solid. I feel like.
if you assume, say you just had the card, right? You spent $10 on the card, uh, spent 200 on the signature and all that. So you're at 220 to 250, depending on how much his auto was. You get a grade is probably another $100 because
Yeah.
it's more. Isn't that how much it was? Wasn't it like 80 for signature?
I can't remember now.
I feel well, if you want it graded and with the auto, it's probably going to be around $100 overall, just approximately if you include like the cost of shipping, maybe a little more. Uh, so you're looking at 350 maybe, and I mean it sold for just under 900.
Mm-hmm. There, I mean, there's. It's hard to tell. There's such a variety of the signatures and sketches.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to tell. He makes some of his Charizard heads really large. Like I'm just looking at the Charizards because that's what there's most of, and I feel like you can get a good gauge there. But sometimes he leaves out his English name. Sometimes he leaves out the kanji name. Sometimes there's both. Sometimes there's a sketch. So there's lots of variants, and then with that, some of the Charizard heads are spitting flames. Sometimes the flames are red. Sometimes the head is large. Sometimes the head is small. You
Well,
definitely
even
notice though the signature without the sketch is pretty decently cheap. Like you could pick up an Arita signature even on a Evolutions Charizard without the
well,
sketch
I was
for
about to say, hold on there. I mean, I'm looking at a PSA 9 Auto 9 without $1,000 basic. Oh wait, well yeah, no that even has the personalized name on it, $1,000. So this Arita sign, Celebrations Charizard, PSA 9, Auto 9, his name in English with the date, and it looks like to whoever it was addressed to, sold for $1,000.
hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, it depends. Any Charizard artwork is going to be very expensive.
Yeah, and here's one. It's got a really good looking Charizard. It's got the kanji and the English signature. Near mint 8, but auto 10 for 1400 on a evolution Zard. So maybe that's 2000 if it's a PSA 10, because that's a really rare card to get 10.
Well, I see
Or
in your
even a
main,
9.
is it the reverse foil? I'm seeing the Zard with his English name, with his reverse foil, 8, PSA 8, Auto 9, $1,100.
And
So,
here's one, the 25th anniversary Japanese. The one with like the sparkly border hollow.
yeah, 1,200.
One of my favorite artworks of all time. Yeah, it's 1200. That has just the kanji and no sketch. So
Mm-hmm.
if that had a
But that's a
sketch, I've
Auto
been
10, PSA 10, and probably 2 grand if it had a sketch, wouldn't you think?
yeah 2 to 2500, because like that card is one of the more popular ones. Like that's the one I would want. Either that or a original Japanese base set. But yeah, it really depends. Like here's an original Japanese base set, Mint 9 Auto 9. The Charizard. This one's almost unique though. It's got the Charizard in flames, but it's got like the Sky Ridge version of Charizard's head rather than like the base set, like more angry, cartoony looking. And it went for 2380. So yep,
Yeah,
it'll be interesting though.
it's definitely worth getting. His signature is probably one of the few, though. One is the accessibility with it, with how, like, I don't say how he doesn't do it. I think he probably does what, 2 signings a year in North America. I know Hawaii isn't technically a part of North America, but it's realistic to be able to get signed, is what I'm saying. If that was your goal. But the thing is, in order to make it worth it, if you're trying to travel, if you're trying to make money off it, you need to get at least 2, potentially 3 signed. And I know when we were talking at the same guy, or I don't know if it's the same guy or somebody else, when we went to KCCon. I think it was it Kuki Saito? I think we might have been talking about Kuki Saito, or it was somebody else signature. I can't remember who it was. It might have been a Ritas that we were discussing. He said he had every employee he had sign, have 3 to 4, and they could keep one of them.
Huh.
And so I think he had like 5, 6 people, so he got about 15 things signed or so.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, so I mean, just thinking about the money right there.
Well,
Like,
even people at this event, I mean, they were, people had multiples, like 4 of them, really. So it's like they're definitely getting a bunch of them.
yeah, so now the curious thing about that, if this becomes the new norm, what will the value of this signature be eventually? The problem is, even with the value potentially going down, these are cards that aren't going to be given up by a lot of collectors. Once they're bought, they're going to be off the market. But
And that's what I was thinking. Like, he just does so many signings, like 10x of the next closest person, aside from Jason Page.
well,
But
if you look at it though, he does a lot of individually unique cards though, making each one its own thing.
yeah, yeah, that is a
So
point to it. It is a lot of variation.
So because of that, if he was just the same old every single one, every single time, then yeah, those would probably plateau in value at some point. It would still probably have a $500 premium on it, in my opinion, because people aren't going to be giving it away for any lower unless the market was flooded, which I don't think we're going to see happen, um, just because of how little it'll hit market. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things. If something were to happen to him too, they would go through the roof.
Yeah. It'd be interesting, especially next couple months with all the Hawaii ones building up on the
Reach a
market.
market. Yep.
I might have to go for that card instead of another Grail here soon, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know your question had something to do with the signatures, right? We can
Yes, it
pop into
did. I
that real
thought
quick.
since we were talking about signatures, I thought we should have a question on it. So we know we saw last year a little bit of an increase in surge of popularity with Pokemon autos. What do you think the future of artist autos in Pokemon are? Will they lose favor in hobby? Will they go down? Will they go up but still stay kind of popular? So, what do you think?
I think I don't think they're going to go crazy or come down. I think the market is pretty healthy where it's at. Um, I think they'll continue to be and have decent interest. That's kind of why I kind of want to dabble in them a little more as far as like actual Japanese artists. Even best case scenario for collectors, if Ken Sugimori came out and just, went crazy with the autos. I mean, just look at the situation with Arita. Arita, don't know for sure, but I'm pretty, comfortable saying like I feel like we have 2 to 3 events with him every year, probably more. And he signs a lot. There's always tons of them on eBay, all variations. Like people have a business of just following Arita around, just getting his signature.
So now, 20 years from now,
Yeah, if he continues doing that, maybe if he lives another, crazy 40 years and does this every single year, like I think they'll come down, at worst maybe 50%, but even if like Ken Sugimori does that, like it would just be, I don't know, he would have to sign so many to meet demand. Like everybody would want that signature. It'd be like 4 times the cost of Arita, I feel like,
well,
even if peak signings.
and you're going to have a bunch of collectors because of Shigemori's connection to early Pokemon and his artwork, his iconic artwork that comes with it. You could see a lot of collectors wanting a bunch of different signatures on a bunch of different cards.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice just to get one of those.
Because the fear would be he might just be in this mood for now, and he might just as quickly say, "Okay, I'm done."
There's a Grand Party PSA 10 card that's been signed by Sugimori. A good old SM Pratt has it on there for $100,000. It's an
Is it PSA 10?
It's authentic auto 10. It looks good though.
Okay,
It's really just the centering.
that's more of a bragging thing, I think. Like a lot of his cards he puts up at that point is to just show it off.
Yeah. There's a couple of them, but there is here's a guy with a Misty's Gyarados. Put it up for $100,000.
Is it SM Pratt?
No. Here's the most realistic one, I guess. It's a base set Mewtwo. Just normal base set, hollow Mewtwo. It's just authentic for 16,500. So
That's unlimited.
being the Mewtwo, I mean, I don't know. I just couldn't see that very much, but someone I guess sold a raw vintage jungle Ariados that wasn't graded. I mean, it looks like him, but I would definitely question that. I guess it sold for one bid $1,000. Can't trust that that's legit, but yeah, you don't see many of them out there. So
I see you see a bunch of voice actors too on a lot of these.
yeah,
I see a few Charmanders, Giovanni's. That doesn't add much value. But yeah, somebody has a Veronica Taylor signed Raichu. Don't know if that was the best one to choose.
there is a authentic Christopher Rush signed one. I think this card has been going around, but it's $15,000. I would be interested in like that signature. So Christopher Rush, he's the creator of Magic the Gathering, and he did that artwork on the Black Star Mewtwo with the circles, like in the woods.
Yeah.
So that's the only card he illustrated, and there's a signed one of it. And he's passed away for many years now. So yeah, that'd be something special there. Other than that,
Wow.
though,
You're paying for his signature only.
yeah, yeah,
Because that card raw, it's not even graded. It's just authenticated. That card raw is like $2, $5.
yeah.
So
I am interested in this little Giovanni here. I see Officer Jenny card, Japanese card.
Jedi.
Jedi.
Get Tom Hanks to sign it. That'd be pretty funny though. Come on, if somebody would get the joke, it'd be so funny. But would somebody pay?
That'd just be a meme and some content there.
I don't think he does. He probably doesn't do conventions and autos for like he doesn't need to.
Yeah, he probably don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, I mean, I'm kind of good to wrap up if you are. Nice little.
So am I.
Shorter.
I can see the snow is actually starting to accumulate, and I still have to get to the gym. So.
Yep, it's building up on the grass here. I didn't check the roads yet, but I'm gonna pull the car.
Well, I'm gonna have to skip cardio because I can do that here at my place and just get the weights in because I don't know how long this is supposed to last.
I think all night.
Oh shit! We're gonna get some accumulation, I guess. Then I should
The
probably.
winter weather advisory was supposed to start at 3.
It's gonna get cold this weekend.
Yeah.
Winter is here. Winter is not only came, but it is here.
Yeah.
But
it says literally here on my app, winter weather advisory starting at 3 p.m. So, and it says it's raining right now. So it's.
Well, it says it's 35 degrees, light rain where I'm at. I wonder where it's getting its temp at because if the ground's sticking, it's not 35 degrees, and if we see snow, it's not 35 degrees.
Yeah.
So
yep, and tomorrow it's going to be below freezing and snowing most of the day, and it's going to get really windy too.
I mean, I'm probably, if I work at all, it's going to be like 4 hours tomorrow.
Yeah.
I guess that means I get more edits in on other work, I guess, so should appreciate the time while I can.
Let me check out this National Weather Service, see if we're going to be snowed in or not here, but...
Snowing sideways. Thanks, Sally.
I don't know. What does everyone think of the weather YouTubers? I mean...
There's weather YouTubers?
Oh, yeah. You should look it up. There's people who, like, upload every day and go live, and they're, like, your weather for the day. It's, you can find anything on there, man.
Well,
this is apparently Snowmageddon.
Well, I'll cite the old Bob Dylan. You don't need a weatherman to tell you which way the wind blows, Nathan.
Well, a lot of people think so. There's a lot of people watch them.
Yeah.
Let me see these. Yeah, it's about to get heavy here. Like literally, if you look at the radar, National Weather Service, the heaviest parts of the storm are going to be like right on top of us.
Oh my!
And it's like moving with us, so it's going to like, the heaviest parts of the band just going to go right over us. So,
do they say what they're calling for?
Last night,
if you're still listening, we appreciate you checking in on our new weather channel.
Literally yesterday, they had a graph on the local news. Let us know if you can relate. They said least amount 1 inch, most amount 7 inches, average most viewers will get 3 to 5.
That's not bad then.
It's like, yeah, but it's like, okay, bad. 1 to 7 inches, thanks.
Well, like, it's going to get cold, so it's going to be here for a while, but...
Well, and seeing the radar right now and how much it's already on the ground, like, we're going to be closer to that 7 inches. The heavy, like, there's yellow on the radar, and it's going to be right over us in, like, an hour.
Oh, shit. That means I got to get going. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
y'all. We're going to be snowed in, and, yeah, there's a blizzard warning over in Colorado, looks like.
Thank you for listening to our weather podcast, everybody. Until next time.
Yep. See y'all later.
Peace out.